I feel like I'm a little bit bothered by is that all these dudes are coming out of the woodwork. They're pro-America. They're going to vote for Trump. They're going to do all these things. And they're like verbally saying all this stuff. But it's like, your house isn't in order. You're not in order. So if you truly cared about your country and you cared about your family and you cared about the outcome of the election,
So what's going on, everybody? So on today's show, we have none other than Brandon Glenn. Welcome to the show, Brandon. This is your third time.
yeah, thank you for having me
You're
back.
becoming like my favorite guest.
I love being here with you guys.
Actually, you're the only person that will come on. That's the truth.
There's nobody else besides
Nobody
you
else, dude. Truth's out. There's no one else that wants to come on and do the show.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So Brandon, you own SaFirst. Do you say SaFirst for them watching or SaFirst?
SaFirst. SaFirst is how I say it. SaFirst.
SaFirst, right?
Yep.
I like that because it's like say safe first. Like say them first.
Yeah.
Call them first, right? So Brandon, you your company, you guys operate here in Phoenix, Arizona, but you're also in other states, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we got deals working in Dallas, Fort Worth right now for some general contractors out there. And we got some guys working out there, and then we're just running in Arizona as hard as we can.
Dude, you're killing it. You're on all kinds of job sites. But it's it's really nice watching you like pumping, because we're all like challenging each other and stuff like that. There's a few people, and but I'm watching you like you're elevating your business to the next level. With your service. Obviously, we have you guys as our safety rep company, but your video content, your imagery. Everything you're doing is taking it to the next level. And for like the people watching is, what are you doing different than the next guy that separates you from them? Not necessarily only in safety, because most safety companies here in the Valley are not good, but overall general as business and stuff like that.
I think the biggest thing that I'm trying to do this year is just continue to reinvest, whether it's in my personal life, my business, my spiritual life, is really keep that at my center and try to continue to reinvest, to reinvent, and continue to make things better. So you have a better customer service and client experience by letting us provide services for you for the safety stuff. Or if it's within my household, trying to elevate how I am as a husband and father and serve my wife and serve my kids. The goal for me this year was to really try to elevate and expand my capacity in every single area. And it's been a challenging year for it, but I've definitely seen some positive growth in every aspect of my life that I've been focusing on.
Yeah. Me looking out from a distance, I see the same thing. But what is making you elevate your game with your marketing, your social media? Because that's what we see the most. That's what everyone sees the most right now. No one really knows who Brandon is unless they see him on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Or work with you personally, right? And so how are you able to convey who you are and what you do on social media?
Yeah. So when I decided to hire a social media team to help me out and grow my name, grow the brand, grow the business, what I really did was I spent hours working on LinkedIn. I was on Instagram. I was kind of reviewing all these other safety companies throughout the United States. And it didn't seem like anybody has a real stronghold as far as marketing themselves, trying to grow their brand on social media organically, trying to explain to potential customers, clients, and people who are watching you and they have their eyeballs on you, like, what are you actually doing on a daily basis? Because from the outside, if you're like, hey, I have a safety consulting company, everybody's like, well, cool, you just do training. Like, that's what everybody thinks safety is just doing training for people. When, as you know, there's a long, robust list of services that we provide has nothing to do with training employees, but it's everything to do with protecting your guys' companies, protecting our clients' companies, and making sure that they're not going to get sued, have liability. They're going to make sure that their employees are happy, healthy, productive, and all of the above.
Would you say that you had to look outside of the box of the whole safety industry, like you said? And because I think sometimes what happens with myself or other small businesses or whatever like that is we look within our industry and sometimes you don't find it there. You know what I mean? Like, because in order to elevate ourselves, we have to look outside of ourselves, right? And basically what you said is you had to look outside of the safety industry to create like who you are, who the company's to be. So for other companies out there, other entrepreneurs, is how can they look outside of their industry to kind of recreate who they are or their brand, you know, because sometimes some industries are grueling, you know, say like, I mean, some industries look ugly, right?
Yeah.
But you can make it sexy. Like we had talked about, like you're like, I'm bringing sexy back to the safety industry.
Yeah. You know, Chris, I think that's probably was my like pain point as far as doing social media marketing and trying to like put myself out there was like, dude, safety's boring. Nobody really cares about it. Like what we do is, you know, nothing extravagant. We're not like really hands-on building these projects that we're part of, you know, all this stuff. And I finally like that was just limiting beliefs for myself of using excuses as to why I wasn't going to explore this and try to grow my network and grow my business and my brand through social media. And it just came to the point when I was watching people that I look up to and I was watching other brands grow. I was like, man, I'm going to get left behind if I don't do this. And even if it doesn't give as much success or I don't have the outcomes that I have planned over the next 6-12 months, like it's still a learning lesson. I'm still making adjustments and pivots and I'm really challenging myself, you know, getting behind the camera and like having to speak in front of people, having to record content, having to work through the content. Like it's given me a different perspective of like, hey, this is an important part of business and it's something that I'm going to continue to try to refine and get better. But really, the fundamental reason of why I decided to do it is like, I didn't want to get left behind. And I know where everything is going. It's very obvious. You know, social media is such a powerful tool if you're using it in the right caliber to grow your business, grow your brand, grow your audience. And I know I'm still on the very like bottom step one of that. But if I keep pushing, keep growing, keep challenging, I know we should have some good results from it.
Yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, because I remember when I started doing more social media marketing, it started on LinkedIn. I mean, I've only been on Instagram like a year and a half or something, or a little over a year. But you know, I would go on the job sites. I bought a little gimbal. I'd walk through it with the phone and stuff like that, and it became a game changer for us because people now got to see me without seeing me.
Yeah.
Right. And more people, more contractors, more, you know, owners or developers, whoever it was that we're working for. But that's the key is like, we have to show people who we are without actually showing them who we are. And that's, I think that's also a fine line, right? Because some people create this persona and it's like, is this who you really are?
Yeah.
You know, so when I say like, we have to show them who we are for who we are, or whatever it is, like, how you do anything is how you do everything is, you know, I believe if you're going to be something on social media, you should be the same person, you know, at home or, you know, everywhere. So if you're going to be this hardcore dude, okay, be it everywhere. If you're going to be like the cool cat, be that everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What do you think about people that are trying to like, because I think there's a lot of people out there that don't want to spend the time or the money on social media or building content, or they don't know what their niche is and how to act, you know. You think they should just like start recording and just be themselves?
Yeah. I mean, I think the number one thing that I've been really trying to pursue and to do is just to be my authentic self and to try to paint the picture of like, this is what SaFirst is about. You know, try to slowly implement having my team members go on these social media videos and postings and stuff like that. But really, like, the only failure as far as I'm concerned is like the stuff that I don't do. Like, I have so many videos and content and pieces that might have recorded that aren't actually going to ever be put on social media, but it's still setting reps. It's just like, for me, it's just like going to the gym. Like, well, you go to the gym for 2 years and you get some little bit of results, but then you adjust something. And then now everybody's like, man, you've been really working hard. When it's like, well, I've been working hard just for the last 2 months. I've been working hard like this for 2 years. So it's the same thought process for social media of, keep growing, keep trying to expand the capacity and what I know and the knowledge, and continue to try to like take advice from people who are doing it so much better than me, and keep trying to explore what works, what doesn't work, what people enjoy, what people don't enjoy, and just enjoy the process of it, and try to stay away from like, well, here's the outcome. Like, I don't go on the SaFirst Instagram account, give it a follow, everybody, and look like, oh, I gained 2 followers today, or I got 10 followers this month. And it's like, dude, those are really small numbers to be saying out loud on a podcast. But that's that's the reality of where SaFirst Instagram account is gaining 10 followers a month. You know what I mean?
It's 10 less, but because we're probably interested in safety as well. They're not going to be like some random chick trying to follow some dude. What could be a random chick trying to follow? You're a handsome man. I'm not gay, guys. Just kidding.
Let's take a sharp right turn now.
No. So, no, but yeah, because people want to like, they're looking at who their followers are, how many and it could be demoralizing. You know, like you're like, I got 2 followers all month. Well, I mean, it's a start. It's better than you had none the month before.
It's 2 more than you had the month before.
Yeah, it's so crucial. Like, dude, until I started doing the whole podcasting, I didn't realize how like social media marketing and the content creation was so important to, if you want growth in today's day. Like,
totally,
you have to do it. You know, I mean, unless you're older and you're already established, or you're doing something like, I don't know, but you have to, even if you're just, I mean, to market yourself on sports as a kid, you have to do it. To, you know, if your business, if you want people to see who you are and know who you are, you have to market yourself. I mean, that's why we started Extreme Media Group, is to help young entrepreneurs get better at their marketing. Now we started with the podcast rentals, the studio rentals, and now we're going to launch the videography and photography, drone shots. But it's to help young entrepreneurs get themselves out there, give them good shots, good videos, market themselves, such as you've done, right?
Yeah.
It's important. I think everyone needs it. Everyone needs to call Extreme Media Group. But
I mean, I think you guys providing a turnkey solution to like the entire social media, what somebody needs to do to help scale a business, is really, really huge. And, you know, in my opinion, like the biggest thing about you guys taking on a new challenge and you guys having, you know, this new Extreme Media Group is that you have real world experience of actually running a business. You've been performing social media stuff in-house with your construction company, hiring a social media guy for, I don't know, as long as I've known you, so maybe 2 years. So it's not like you just like, boom, this is what we do. You've been doing it yourself, and you've been actively scaling, growing, using social media to benefit, and you know what works, what doesn't work. You know how to do it at a high level. So I think everybody, if you want a one-stop shop, should try to take advantage of what you guys are offering, you know?
Yeah. Go follow us at Extreme Media Group. We're actually doing a shoe giveaway on that.
I saw yesterday.
Yeah, because we just launched the site, so we're gonna get to 500 followers and then give away some Nikes.
I like it.
So switching gears, like, you know, we're neighbors. Well, we're about like 4 blocks away from each other, but we're neighbors. And, you know, I think I mentioned this, but I was like, I seen your post of, you know, you're like, what's your favorite neighbor? And it wasn't me. I was a little hurt by that. I was like, I thought I was his only neighbor, but I didn't realize there's like 300 other neighbors that are in between us.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I'm not your favorite neighbor. No, but seriously, like, you're on this fitness journey, and I just started a fitness journey probably like, you know, December, January. And I wanted to talk to you about that journey because I'm watching you from a distance, and, you know, we don't work out together because I'm not even close to your level, and I would just hold you back. Like literally like dead weight. But like, what does that mean to you, the fitness? You know, because until I started doing it, like, it means a lot to me right now, like eating better and fitness, but I didn't realize it, and I'm still learning it. What does it mean to you, and how do you utilize that in your life?
Yeah. I mean, I've been working out and training and doing some type of physical activity my entire life. So working out was never really, it's just always part of my routine. Like, even when I started this fitness journey, when I started the 75 Hard Live Hard program on January 1, like before that, I worked out every single day, lifting weights throughout the year. But really, I was just came to a point where I wasn't necessarily happy with my appearance. I wasn't happy with how I physically felt because I was, 225 pounds. I was carrying around a lot of stuff. I was eating a ton of food trying to get bigger, and I'd get my blood drawn and I would have bad blood results because I was eating so much food.
What you're putting inside you.
And it finally got to the point where I'm like, man, I'm 38 years old. I need to make some adjustments, and I need to really like look at longevity for fitness, and I need to do things that are going to help me long term. And the biggest thing is, I'm trying to, like we just talked about, a brand. I have my personal brand of Brandon, and it's not necessarily to be put on social media, but I'm trying to show my wife, my kids, my employees, my friends, my family, like if you stay consistent and you uphold yourself to a high amount of standards, and you have discipline, and you follow through on what you say you're going to do every day, like you do have good results.
Yeah.
And I really try to not only do that like working out, but it's every little aspect of fitness. It's not just physical fitness, it's emotional, mental, spiritual, financial. I'm trying to expand on all of those fronts, and it's been a great year for me to do it because I'm completely locked in. I have high standards for myself, and I'm going to continue to push and continue to grow and continue to try to get better on all of those fronts.
Yeah, because you're on your second round of 75 Hard, right?
Yeah, so I'm doing the Live Hard program. So 75 Hard was from January 1st till March 15th. And then I did phase 1, and I just finished up phase 2 on the 30th of June. So the third part of that is going to start December 2nd of 2024, and it's going to run through till the last day of the year.
Do you feel like being fit, physical fit, like that just sets your day, sets the tone for your week? Does, because I know until I started like the journey I'm on, like I was literally getting so tired during the day. I was like, it was getting to where I was like be at the desk and I'm just dozing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and I'm dozing. How does the fitness help you with your day? Because you're running around from job site to job site. You got your guys that are doing it. You're managing all the field, and then you're obviously married. But how does that fitness like able to catapult you on your day? That way, people know what this actually means.
Well, so I think when we're talking about like how does the fitness help you every single day, well, like the main thing that I try to, and that I've like kind of instilled in myself, is I want to do hard stuff every single day. So when our days take a turn and we have something really challenging that takes place, I have all of these days of experience of doing something hard. So I know that I'll be able to perform at a high level because that's what I've built my foundation on, is doing something hard every single day. So when I talk about like physical fitness, and when I talk about my personal physical fitness, it's not just to like, oh, I want to look a certain way. It's for me to develop that grit and that confidence in myself that I know that I'm able to face the hardest task and perform at a high level.
Yeah.
Because that's what you would expect from me. If something bad were to happen, you don't want me to be like off of my game, sluggish, not focused, not able to get dialed in a high level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you practice, and how you practice is how you're going to play in the game. And I try to practice as hard as I can in all the aspects, but specifically for my physical fitness. So when everything else goes, it makes everything else easier.
Yeah, I know for me, like it's given me mental clarity. It's showing me like that not to quit, because I'll work out and I'm dying, tired, everything, and Dominic's training me and he's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's run again. Let's do 10 more reps. Let's do 2 more or whatever. And so it's teaching me what I have inside of me. And but that clarity, like you said, is and I made a post on this the other day on the stories, is like I thought I had $1 million mindset until I really started working out, and I realized, I really didn't.
Yeah.
We think we're better than we are, and we want to be as men, but it's like, well, are you really there? Are you really a peak performer? Because like you said, it gets challenging in the workforce. Operating a business as yourself and myself is, you got to deal with employees, with customers. You get bashed sometimes. There's things that's happened that takes takes you on a mental roller coaster.
Totally.
Then you got to deal with, your spouse and your children, all that stuff, right? Finances, everything else. And for me, like the fitness part of it has really given me clarity, besides like more endurance, more stamina.
Yeah.
The fatigue's gone, but peak performance. And I would tell Antonio and some of the younger guys is like I want to be perform at a high level. I don't want to be caught off guard mentally, right? I'm not in a physical game, but in a mental game, I want to be able to operate. So that means, like you said, is you can't be tired, you can't be sluggish.
Yeah.
You gotta be like, and then you gotta know that there's no quit, because when you're working out, like you got injuries, headaches, backaches, everything.
There's a million excuses you can make for yourself every single day.
Yeah. And so if to get past those excuses, because we make those excuses in life everywhere, right? But if we can minimize and limit excuse by excuse by excuse, then that's how we become the peak performers, because like even in business, you think about how many people make excuse not to start a business or not to operate at a higher level, or that it's only them. They don't want to hire the first employee or.
Yeah. I mean, I have, first thing, I'm really proud of you, because, you and I have been friends, and from the beginning of your fitness journey till now, you've been doing really great. And I'm more proud and impressed of your results than I have been of my results this year, because I already had such a foundation of physical fitness that it's like, I took some minor adjustments and tweaks and changed my diet and really figured out what food works well for me. And I kind of use that to catapult myself to where I am now, where you started from ground one. You should be extremely proud of yourself. Everybody that's watching you should be proud of you, because you've been working hard and you've been putting the work in. I see you climbing the mountain. When I'm working out Saturday mornings and I see your truck gone, I'm like, oh, I know what he's doing, and I like it. That's the people that I want to be around, because when you do talk about peak performance, and if you're an entrepreneur, you're an intrapreneur, you're a stay-at-home mom, like there's no way that you're going to be able to maximize your day if you're sluggish, you don't take care of yourself, you aren't trying to eat healthy, you aren't trying to explore all those health options you have to be your best. And it's harder to do it than to not do it. Yeah. And our minds, how we're programmed, and I think how we're specifically programmed nowadays, with the conditioning on social media and all that, is they want you to be sick. They want you to be lazy. They don't want you to think for yourself. They don't want you to push yourself. They don't want you to become a great version of yourself, because I feel like everything is meant to like kind of hold us back right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's socialism. That's Marxism. It's kind of like the same thing as putting substances inside your body, whether it's drinking too much alcohol or smoking too much weed. Whatever. I had a young man tell me the other day, he's like, he does a podcast, and he's like, listen, because he would get high on a podcast and then forget everything he wanted to say. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, you're stoned, bro. Like your mind is like going into zonkers land. Like you're ready to go to sleep now or whatever. I mean, some people say, well, I get high and I work out or whatever,
yeah.
but the mind doesn't operate at the same level.
No.
And so we have to be clear-headed, that oxygen pumping. But just watching you on your fitness journey is like really motivating to me, because I'm like, obviously you're further along, much years further than me, but I'm like, well, he's doing it. There's no excuse for me not to go outside and freaking run or hit some weights, even if it's less weights or whatever. There's no excuse,
There's no excuse, man.
Yeah, there's no excuse. And I like at home, it's cool because like my oldest daughter's doing it. She's going to the mountain in the morning. She's actually doing it more than me.
There you go.
My youngest daughter's in there, and then they go into the gym, do the treadmill. They'll do stretches, and I got the big air balls, the yoga balls and stuff. So it's starting to like rub off on the family.
Yeah, and that's what my goal is to kind of, I got younger kids, and I'm trying to show them, instead of, just giving them the words like, hey, you should work out hard or you should do this hard. Like I'm trying to show them, so it's deep inside their memory bank. Once they're 38 years old, they know this is how I should be modeling myself, as far as total wellness, but physical fitness, mental fitness, emotional fitness, continue to grow, challenge, push yourself. And it really is like what you're talking about with your kids. Like you should be so proud of that, because that should be the goal, is you're the leader of your family, and you are serving your family at a high level because you're changing. You had some bad habits and you weren't tracking your food and you were eating whatever you wanted to now it's July, and over the last 7 months, you watch what you eat. Your family's now training, working out. You're having positive results for them, which should be more impactful for you than yourself, you know?
Yeah, no, it is. It's cool because even I have other people like that are following me, friends and stuff, like acquaintances and stuff, and they're like, hey, I want to go with you to the mountain. I want to go, you know. So I'm like, man, it's so cool because, you know, I'll get texts, even my bankers and stuff like, man, I haven't worked out for like 5 years. Can I go with you? I'm like, well, you just got to wake up early.
Let's roll.
Yeah, you just got to wake up early. You know, I'm not anything special. I'm not going to dust you because I'm barely doing it.
Yeah.
I'm still new, but
Yeah.
but let's go. If you want to go, you know, wake up early and be ready to put the time in, be ready to hurt, you know, because it hurts. It's not easy, you know.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, and I really want to challenge you, so I'm going to say it here is like, quit minimizing and discredit what your accomplishments are.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I feel like I was the same way, but kind of where things are at, where my mindset is at over the past couple months, it's like, I'm allowed to be proud of myself, and I'm allowed to say it out loud and be like, you know what, I'm proud of myself, but I'm hungry and I'm not satisfied, and I'm going to keep pushing as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're trying to do, is keep pushing. You know, I'm not going to be like, oh, I reached the pinnacle. That's it. There's no more after this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got to create a better version of ourselves each day. Like, you should not be the same tomorrow that you are today. So like, I think, so I've lost like about 20 pounds or so, something like that. I don't know. But what's cool is like, Sunday I was 216, Monday I was 215, yesterday I was 214, although I ate like almost a pizza last night. So maybe I'm back up a pound.
Yeah.
But so I'm trying to, in my mind, I'm like, well, I need to be better. So that means if I do eat bad, then okay, I gotta do the air bike longer, or run on the treadmill longer, or whatever it is, you know, try to burn that off or something. I shouldn't eat bad at all. But but we have to challenge ourselves to be a better version each and every day. Because like you said, man, it's like, dude, like, to be stuck, you know, we've done it. We've been there, right? I've been there. I've had family members there. I mean, it's a terrible place to be.
Yeah.
When you're getting the same results over and over.
That's probably one of the things that I'm, you know, very mindful about right now, because I have a lot of close friends, some family members, some people I truly care about, that they're stuck. And it's like, you know the path.
Yeah.
But the problem is like, are they really stuck, or are they just using excuses every time to not get on that path? Because going on the right path is hard. It's a challenge. Like, every day you have to be on top of your game, or else you're going to slip, you know. There's no in between. But the same thing I try to like tell the people that are on the journey that I talk to, who come to me for advice, like, it's okay to fall off. You know what I mean? It's okay to be, hey, I had one bad lunch, or I had one bad dinner, or I didn't work out for 2 days, or I took 2 weeks off. Like, none of that matters. What matters is that first step forward, getting back on the track, getting back on the path, so you can continue to move and propel yourself, instead of just using like, man, I already ate bad for breakfast and lunch. Now I'm just going to finish it out, and I'm going to eat bad dinner, and then I'm not going to work out. And it's like, no, dude, like, yeah, you might eat bad, eat something healthy for dinner, get a quick workout in, go to bed with some wins.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's easy to stack some wins, man, as long as you like, I need to get some wins before bed, you know, like, I really need something to feel good about myself right now.
Totally. No, the wins, like, I'm glad you said that, because that's how we have to look at it, you know, because winning is not easy. Like, winning is super hard. Winning anything, right?
I mean, it's 2024, and I've been telling everybody, and you know, you see, like, I'm having a successful year. This has been the hardest year that I've had, personal, business, financially, like, all the different avenues. And if I wasn't equipping myself to perform at a high level, like we're just talking about, I don't think that I would be sitting here talking to you. I for sure wouldn't be comfortable sitting here having a conversation with you about it, because instead of me saying like, man, I have all these L's, I have some L's this year for sure. I have a lot of losses. I have a lot of wins too, you know, and all I have to do throughout the rest of the year, the other half, is I need to have more wins then I have losses, and it's a successful year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you can have wins within that loss. Like, what'd you learn from it? Can you implement new strategy?
Totally.
Can you change the direction for next time? Can you, whether it's an employee, change the employee or change a habit, or, most of it's about habit, right? I know, like, I did it, and I see people around me, like, they'll make excuses. And I feel like, especially that I'm working out, I'm challenging, like, our employees and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a little gym up here, and I'll hear, like, oh, I'll do it next week. And I used to do this, not to say I'm, better than anybody, but I would do the same thing. Like, oh, I'm going to start the diet next week. I'm going to start eating better next week. I'm just going to eat this ice cream right now. I'm going to work out next week. I'm tired this week, and, something. And I feel like when we start making excuses in one area, the excuses start rolling into every area of our life. And then next thing you know, you have, like, your life's kind of a mess. And, I don't want to talk, shit about people, but, like, it happens, it rolls into every area of your life. Like your health, your spiritual walk, your finances, where now you're not paying your bills, and, you're staying up late watching TV till 2 a.m, and now you got to wake up at 12 in the afternoon, and you got fired from your job. And, so I think, like, we got to be on our A game. We got to win. Yeah. Like, if a win for me, like a simple win for me right now is, can I go to sleep, like, early? And, like, last night I went to sleep early. So that's a win, because that means I'm going to wake up earlier. I'm not going to be sluggish. I'm not going to be tired and all groggy or whatever, moving slow. So that's a win, right? And people think that wins have to be this glamorous thing. Why didn't you make no money? Well, what'd you do, though?
Yeah.
Maybe you won some other way. You know what I mean?
I think you hit it. Like, you saying that you got to win for going to bed early enough so you can wake up and train this morning. Like, everything boils down to, like, when we talk about the very entry level, is like, well, what's important to you and what's not important to you? Because you just showed me you're prioritizing sleep, which sleep's the foundation of having healthy habits. You can't watch movies on Netflix all night, go to bed at 2:00, wake up at 5:00, and think you're going to come here and lead your team at a high level. There's no way. You shouldn't be able to. And hey, with that being said, there's going to be times where you're going to have to pull all-nighters to get some estimates in there, or to work hard 100%. And guess what? You're going to be able to suck up the next day knowing that you are serving your team by doing that. And you're going to be able to perform, maybe not at your highest level, but you're going to be able to perform because you have 2024 foundation of, I'm physically fitter, I lost weight, I'm going to eat right, I'm going to stay hydrated. So if you are tired and you have an excuse of why you didn't get a lot of sleep, you're still prepared to function.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's like, when you think about, like, fighters or whatever, they prepare. I mean, you did jiu-jitsu for a long time, and, like, you prepare for the worst case scenario, to be your best at that scenario when you're getting your butt whooped, when you're super tired, but you still have enough to keep going.
Yeah.
Like you said, and if you weren't prepared, you wouldn't have enough to keep going.
Your tank will be completely empty.
Yeah.
And you won't have the knowledge or the experience. And that's the biggest thing that I talk about. Like, when you are, like, I made a post about how, June was the hardest month for me. Like, every day I was like, man, I should just quit doing phase 2 because I got nothing. I'm empty. I was dealing with so many other challenges. I was like, man, I don't have time to focus on this. And that was just my brain playing the trick on me, because I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter how I feel. I'm going to perform up to what my expectations for myself are every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like, for people that are watching, maybe you're a good guy or a good woman or something, but I think in order to live your best life, you have to be a little selfish, because you got to take that time for yourself. You're riding 20, 30 miles. You said you're going to go for 40 miles, and not in a week, guys, in the morning. That's a lot of damn miles.
Yeah.
Start calling you Lance.
Yeah, that's the running joke right now. You're right.
Yeah.
The thing about when you're talking about making the time, we talked about downstairs how I've been tracking everything.
Yeah.
Well, if I work out twice a day all week long, it only is about 10 or 11 hours worth of actual training for the week. That's not that much when you put it in perspective. You got 7 days.
Yeah.
So you have time.
Yeah.
I hear people all the time make the excuse like, I don't have time, I'm too busy. And if we were to really sit down and we were to like map out where their day is and what they're doing at night, like you got plenty of time. Mm-hmm. But what's important to you is a little different than what's important to me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the challenge with people today is what's actually important, and most people, I think they want the look, but they don't want to put in the work because the work hurts. Like we talked about, the work hurts. Listen, it's hard owning a business and operating and having employees. It's hard working out. Now I'm doing I have to work out in the morning, get my butt whipped by Dominic, and then still come here and possibly get my butt whooped again by someone else.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And deal with something else. Maybe it's a safety concern or a non-payment, whatever it is, right? And it's like, so we have to operate at a high level. Even if we could say, well, someone else is doing better. Well, maybe they are, but at the level at the level I'm at, I'm going to try to operate at the best
of your ability,
of my ability. And it's up to me to better it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's up to everybody. Like it pisses me off sometimes. And I try not to look at people this way is when they don't even try, or if I'll give them some sort of advice on something and they don't use it. And it's like, come on, dude. Like all you have to do is change one thing and you'll be good.
Yeah.
All you have to do is challenge yourself in this one area and it'll help you, it's in every area of our life, it's something different. The challenge, the need is different, right?
I think you hit it on the head. And I've been bringing up a lot of stuff since the debate because, I feel like I'm a little bit bothered by the main thing I'm bothered by is that all these dudes are coming out of the woodwork. They're pro-America. They're going to vote for Trump. They're going to do all these things. And they're verbally saying all this stuff. But it's your house isn't in order. You're not in order. So if you truly cared about your country and you cared about your family and you cared about the outcome of the election, you would have, instead of going out to the bar Friday, Saturday nights or using excuses why you're not spending time with your family and taking care of your wife, you would be focusing on the things that are going to actually move the needle in America in the right way, which is taking care of your house.
Yeah, no, it's true because, the last thing you want to do is raise our children or put out these vibes of you don't care, but, because it's super important, I think you're totally hitting on something because especially as Americans, we have this freedom. We have the freedom to do a lot, right? To be a lot, to we talked about, be our best version of ourselves. And if you're not doing that, you really don't have nothing to say, how can you support something if you're not part of, you're employing people. And I'm not saying everyone has to employ people, but you got to do something to step up your level, and really show that you can operate at a high level and show, why, like you said, when it comes to they're America First or Trump now, Trump followers. And it's well, what are you actually doing to make a change? Are you, are your kids in the right place? Are you at least trying to get your kids in the right place? Are you doing your best at work?
Yeah.
It's kind of like with religion the same way. It's kind of that person that says, well, I'm a Christian, and they're at the bars too, right?
Yeah.
So what are you doing with that?
Yeah. I just look at it how you do one thing is how you do everything.
That's right.
And for me, it's really hard for me to sit here and be like, hey, Chris, maybe you should do X, Y, and Z, when I'm going to walk out of here and I'm going to know in my own house, I don't have it in order and I'm not living what I say I'm living in public, you know what I mean? In private. And it's all these things. And it's no disrespect. It's just an observation that I made of hey man, if we can get our house in order and we could be that person for our family and we could raise good men and women and we can show our wife love and appreciation and we can serve them, then when we open our door and we go outside, then we can serve other people and we can make a change on the outside. But if you can't even take care of yourself and you're not able to perform how an American should perform and how we should represent, and that's the other thing. It's not it's not pointing at the people who are Biden supporters and being like, you guys are idiots. That's going to make them now their perspective change, and you're going to be like, you're going to gain a friend and an ally, and they're going to start voting for whoever you're voting for. It's like, that's not how the world works. And if we're supposed to be men of God and we're supposed to be Christians, it really is, you should be nice. You shouldn't pass judgment on people. You shouldn't make people feel uncomfortable. So the best way to make positive change, I think, in my opinion, is to really live that life of change.
Yeah. You need to show what you're capable of. Like you said, we have to live our best life. We have to show, like, that's the whole thing. What and I'll go back to like Christianity and religion is that's what we talk about in church. You guys probably talk about the same thing. Is you gotta walk the walk, not just talk the talk. You know, so that's what you're saying. What being a good American is, being a part of the society. What are you doing to make a change? How do you better your life? How can you help someone else better their life?
Yeah.
You know, how did you give? Are you a giver? You know, I'm a big proponent of giving. Like, I talk about it a lot. Like, you got to sow seeds. You got to plant seeds. You got to water the seeds. You got to, you know, Tim Story would say, plow, plant, water, harvest. And the harvest comes, you know what I mean? And it's what you're saying is you have to be better to even have it sucks to say it, but to have a voice, you have to be doing your best.
Quit pointing. I just think if we quit pointing fingers at people and we just started straight looking at ourselves in the mirror and be like, what do I need to do to get better?
So
what do I need to do to get to where I'm going?
My father-in-law would always say, he would go like, okay, point, right? And I'm pointing, and he'd be like, you're pointing one finger forward, but how many fingers are pointing at you?
Yeah, totally.
And so I have 3 pointing at me. It's like, that's really what the focus needs to be on, you know, is because it is easy to say like, oh, I'm better than him, or I'm this, or I'm that, and not fix nothing, you know, and just be judgmental, which I think all of us are at some point in our lives, you know, especially guys. Guys are all judgmental because we're competitive.
Yeah, and we got ego and we got testosterone, and we should. Hey, competition is good.
It's very good. There's no such thing as 5th place.
But me having competition towards you and then having bad energy about it is not good. I want us to have competition where we're going to make ourselves better.
That's exactly right.
We're growing together.
Because that would suck. Like, oh, man, Brandon, he thinks he's better because he's riding the bike 30 miles and I can go like 2 blocks. Nah. Like, damn, he's killing it. How'd you do it, Brandon? Well, I just started here, and then I started with 5 miles, and I did 10 miles, and then...
Yeah, and you saw it, dude. I really did start with like
no, I know.
5 or 6
You're going
miles.
around the block. And then next thing you know, you're going around the freaking city.
Yeah. It's just baby steps.
It's baby steps. But yeah, but like, you know, talking about like the politics and all that stuff. And I noticed you had a flag in your front house. I've been wanting to put a flagpole, bro. I got to get someone to put a flagpole in front of my house. I want to put this big old flagpole.
Let's do a side project, man.
Let's do it. I want to put a big old flagpole because I'm like so proud to be an American. Born and raised here. I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. Born in County Hospital, you know. But I love our country, you know. Even though it's kind of in shambles a little bit, you know. I think we still have a great opportunity. We still have we still have some sort of freedom here. It doesn't seem that way, but there is a level of freedom that we all have.
Yeah.
Like right now, we have the freedom to do this. Imagine like in North Korea or something. They ain't no podcast. I mean, maybe there is, but it's the edited versions by the government.
Sure. Yeah.
And they're like, they have armed guards watching what you're saying and stuff. And we're allowed to say, do, you know, build ourselves up, you know? So we have to take those freedoms seriously, especially when it's like coming to, you know, now we're coming into the presidency, you know, we're going to be voting here in November, you know, and we have to think about like that. Even I tell people what, you know, they're like, well, because I've been following Trump since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, I liked Trump as a kid. He was, I think at one time in the 80s, I was born in 1980, but I want to say for a short minute, he was the richest American. That could be wrong, but he was right up there.
Yeah.
You know, he was killing the game, right? And then, you know, when he got into the politics in 2015, 2016, that was the first time I ever voted, was for Trump, right? I never voted for anything else.
Yeah.
anyone. I couldn't vote actually because of my felony.
Yeah.
So, but like we have to figure out what's best for us and for our needs as a family and where we're growing. You know, that's what I tell people, like, vote how you want to live.
Yeah.
It's plain and simple. If you want free stuff for the rest of your life, you know how to vote.
Yeah.
You know, call it Bernie Sanders and AOC. But if you want like a chance and opportunity to live your best life, then and we're not here to talk about Trump all day, although we could, but that's why I'm voting like in that direction of the Republican House, the Republican Party.
Yeah, it's the same. I just been telling people, and I've been having a lot of conversations about politics and a lot of positive conversations. A lot of people who are indifferent or they might not be leaning towards the same thing because, you know, I'm a Republican, but I'm not. I'm just like, I'm an American. I love America, and I want what's best for everybody. I want us to have a safe city of Phoenix, you know, where you and I live at. I don't want it to have a lot of violent crime. I don't want there to have a lot of issues. There's like all these things. But what I've been telling people is you're never going to straight align with what a presidential candidate or a city council member says at a low level. You need to pick the 3 or 4 most important things to you, and you need to figure out who is most in alignment with what's most important to me and my family.
Yeah.
And that's how you should base your voting. Not off of their social media campaigns, not off of the smear campaigns that are going on right now, just off of the true, like, this is what's important to me, and this is what they say is important to them, and I line up with A candidate over B candidate more.
You know what's crazy, dude? Side subject. This pre-workout I'm taking, it makes my mouth so dry.
Oh, really?
I don't know what it is.
You're just nervous.
No, my mouth gets, like, I've been taking it a week now, and like just cotton mouth. It's like maybe it's making me high or
Maybe
something.
we need to get you some different pre-workout.
I don't know, that's pretty good, dude. A lot of energy. But so you know what's crazy on politics is like the American flag. When you see an American flag on wherever, you automatically think Republican. That's sad. Like like anytime I see an American flag, I'm like, he's a Republican.
Yeah.
You know, and like you can't even be like he's an American, whether it's a Democrat or Republican. You know, if you see a flag, it's a Republican.
You kind of know where they stand.
Where they stand. And I'm like, why does it have to be this way? We're all in the same country. We all have the same freedoms. People from other countries come here for the freedom, for the opportunity. And yet in today's time, so many people are wasting that opportunity.
Yeah.
They're literally like, they're literally destroying their own home. It's almost if you went back to your house and just started destroying it.
That's what it is.
Eventually, you're not going to have a home.
Yeah. I think, you know, I have a really unique and really a powerful perspective on exactly what you're talking about. On Monday, I spoke to a foreman for one of the companies that we work with, and he's from Mexico. Great attitude, hard worker. Wife just graduated college and got a teaching job, has kids, and he straight up is just like, America is the best country. Like, we are living such a great life, and like God has blessed him so much. And he's like, I really sacrificed a lot because my wife was going to school at night and we had small kids. So I would like, he's working in the sun all day.
Yeah.
For 12 hours every day, and he comes home and then he's taking care of his kids, and he's like, nothing else matters besides me taking care of my family.
No, it's true. I mean, you hear a lot. Like, you hear from a lot of immigrants that are doing it the right way. Like, they love America more than Americans.
They
sad.
understand the people that come over here from more challenging environments where they grew up at understand how amazing America is.
Yeah, and yet our own people are like so freaking spoiled.
Yeah, and I grew up in single mom, lived in an apartment forever. Like, I understand the real reality, and I've been working hard my entire life to try to change my family's life. Mm-hmm. And in America, we're getting the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
There's no cap of potential of what I'm able to do in America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's up to me.
No, that's exactly right, because you can reset. We can challenge ourselves. We don't have to be the same version of our parents, our grandparents. In other countries, you do.
Yeah.
It's what it is. Everyone's the same no matter what. We can, like my daughter, Lena, she graduated from Grand Canyon University. And she was like so excited. You know, she graduated a year early. She did really well.
Yeah, you should be super proud of her.
And she's literally the first one, like, I mean, I don't know. I haven't talked to a lot of my siblings and their, but like, she's like a first one out of a lot of family members that graduated from college, you know, let alone even went.
Yeah.
You know, and so she changed the trajectory of her life, you know,
100%
for her future. And that's the freedoms we have here that people don't take advantage of. Like, you can change the trajectory of everything. You just got to want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's either you can go and destroy something or make something better. You can give life, you can speak life, or you can speak death. You know, I choose to speak life and give life and work my butt off.
I mean, there's nothing else. That's what we have to do right now.
Yeah.
If we want to change where this country is headed, and if we want to change our family circumstances, and if we want to really like leave things better than we found it, complaining, making things worse, ruining things, having a negative outlook on stuff, like, that's not going to help the situation. And I'm confused if people think that all of that stuff is going to help the situation.
It's so crazy. It's crazy. I mean, people are destroying buildings and burning flags and changing their body parts and all this crazy stuff. It's madness. And it's like, then you see, like, here's what's crazy. So I mean, you follow a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, today, like, real stuff's coming out now. You know, they're starting to overturn some of the rulings for the January 6th thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where they're going to help Trump, which he needs to help. I mean, the guy's getting bashed by everybody, right? You know, give him a little love. Come on, guys. Like, I mean, there's some really bad people out there, and you want to bash this old white dude, but like, that's wealthy. Then you see, like, there was something I seen that's new too, the 9/11 thing. I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
This is like recent, like yesterday, today, where videos came out of some like terrorist guys or like military guys. I'm saying it a little bit wrong, from Saudi Arabia. Like months before the 9/11, scouting everything, all the areas that were bombed. It's crazy, the stuff that comes out, right? And so these are things that, like, you know, that are suppressed, that are hidden, right? But what we have to do is we have to know, okay, if you're living your best life, I think you make better judgments, and that way you know which way to go. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if you're making a good, like, and I'm sorry, whoever's watching, I'm not sorry. Like, if you're still voting for Biden after what he did and his debate, and you're like you're gonna make an excuse, like, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. Don't watch my stuff. It's okay.
Yeah.
But if you want to learn and grow, you can watch it. You can keep watching, but don't make an excuse for something that's not there. That's like we're saying, don't make an excuse for yourself. Freaking get up, go get a job, go work out, whatever it is. Challenge yourself. The same thing with us as a country is, we need to challenge ourselves.
For sure. And
was that a little harsh?
No, I think the thing about what's like, it shouldn't be like, I think literally the debate rolled out exactly how it did. Like, I told my wife right away, and I don't watch the news. I get my information from select sources, but one of the things that I said immediately, I was like, dude, they're positioning Biden to need to get replaced because the polling numbers are poor.
Yeah.
The what everybody thinks and everybody's seeing. I mean, honestly, like, there's people that I talk to all the time that are pivoting, and they're like, we can't literally vote for Biden because we don't think he'll make it through a second term of president. You know what I mean? So it almost seems like the Democratic Party, like, they have to make a change, or else it's just going to be an easy victory for you know, President Trump.
Yeah. I don't think a change can happen that fast, though, because there's certain things where he has to stay on the ballot.
Yeah.
Certain states, it has to be proven by a doctor to get him off the ballot.
Yeah. And
I think his wife wants him on the ballot.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Time will tell exactly what's going to happen.
It's exactly right. We got a long time. You know.
So
what's that? 5 months.
You know, when you look at the strategies and what took place, you know, this debate was really pushed really forward compared to, you know, previous debates and the timelines within the election cycle.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was strategically planned for a reason. Things have been falling into favor with President Trump lately, which I feel like it's obviously great news, but I obviously think that there's going to be some underlying reason and strategy behind why this
Oh, they're
is
allowing
taking
it.
place.
Yeah, it's being allowed.
And I just wish that, this election cycle, there wasn't so much games being played and there was just more truth. And obviously, I'm voting for President Trump, but he didn't help himself in the debate because he didn't answer any questions. So we had a great opportunity to pivot some voters, to gain some new followers, to gain traction. And obviously he doesn't need it, with them indicting him and him raising all that money. Like that just shows how people are kind of feeling. Yeah. That's a high level example of how people feel. But I really wish that he would have answered the American people's questions if these were really their concerns, and would have done a better job of leading the American people instead of him just doing his normal ranting and talking down or bad about people, because that's not the leader that America needs.
I mean, he's our best option right now.
For sure.
Right?
He's our only option, actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, he's the only option, right? And people are like, well, RFK is like growing grass somewhere.
Yeah.
He's a good guy though. But like, no, I agree. But I think like he doesn't answer certain questions because he doesn't want to say it wrong. Because all it takes is one little like mess up and he's getting bashed. You know what I mean?
They pick him apart on no matter what he says.
Yeah, no. So not saying anything, he's picked apart.
For sure.
Right. So he decided not to say anything and go out and be brass, and he got picked apart. Right. And like on the other hand, you had Biden, like his first sentence, he's mumbling. They had to stop him.
There's no doubt who won the election by a landslide. The debate. It was just obviously, Trump is in way peak physical condition compared to Biden right now.
Did you see that little story I put up? I don't know if you watched it, when they got off stage.
Oh yeah, when his wife had to come and grab him.
Walk him downstairs. He's walking like an old. He reminds me of like the robots back in the 80s. When you watch them on TV and they were just like barely moved.
Yeah.
There were square boxing stuff, and they're like this is kind of like a breakdancer would make fun of the robot, do the robot. That was Biden. But yeah, we need a country that's gonna like have high values, high morals. We need to bring back religion.
We need to put over any of the politics. We need to put God at the center of our lives. God needs to be getting taught in public schools,
and not necessarily religion, but God. Yeah, I think there was a state that is doing something where they're going to allow the Bibles back in. It's like it's going to be mandatory.
I heard the same.
Antonio can Google it. I forgot what state it is. They just passed that. But yeah, because once you start taking out the spirituality, that's when you're like, it's open game. That's when, like, and if you're following us and you're in the church world, they'll say the enemy comes in, right? The enemy's these bad spirits or bad people, whatever. So once they started taking out the church out of the schools and out of everywhere, it's like, okay, now it's an open game.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy is that's the other side. That's the other side of Trump, and it's that's why it's almost becoming like, if you're a Christian, you have to vote Republican. And it shouldn't be that way.
Yes, but at this point where how things are, like I'm saying on a podcast, like, yeah, I'm a Republican, but I'm just a common sense American guy that I want the common sense approach for stuff. You know what I mean? I don't want to pay 40% of my income to taxes. I don't want the Pledge of Allegiance to be banned in the school. You know what I mean? I don't want us to get away from traditional values of having a husband and wife under the same household raising kids. Like, America doesn't need single moms and having dads not take care of their kids. It's right crazy. Now. You know what I mean? Yeah. We need to build a foundation of, in our households, we're pushing strong values, ethics, have integrity, working hard. So when my kids are adults, they have a great foundation to continue to have America be great instead of it being how it is now. Like, kids can go to school in high school and they can say, hey, I want to be a different gender. And then the parents don't even get a phone call for it. Or, like, things are so crazy nowadays as far as trying to raise kids and try to build them up into great American citizens, that it's like, man, what's the one thing that needs to change? And you can't even pinpoint one thing because it's just a foundational issue within the public school system of what's taking place right now.
It's crazy. So that state is Oklahoma.
There you go.
But and so, well, you think about like they let people in prison get gender changes, whatever it's called, the sex changes in prison.
Yeah.
Like they're rewarded in prison. Like, and if you look at it, a lot of this is leading to a lower fertility rate. So now then it says, well, is this a plan? You know, because if you have less people making babies,
for sure,
a guy and a guy can't, or a girl and a girl can't.
It's the elite's plan. Everything that they're doing is a plan
and so
of
our fertility rate is its lowest it's ever been. It's really low. Like it's super low. I forgot what Antonio. You could probably Google, like put United States fertility rate 2024 or something. Maybe it'll show 23, but it's like I don't even think we're at 2 children anymore. Like per, you know, like
yeah.
And we used to be really high. You know, India's really high now, but we're barely above China.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's probably decreasing, and the trend is going the wrong way.
Right there, 1.67 births per woman. Right, so it's crazy. Like that's really low for us, and so that tells you that there's going to be less people in 30 years, in 50 years, you know, and so that's control. Right, the less people you have, the more control you can get.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
it's all a game in the long run of like what needs to take place. But if, like we've been talking about this whole time, personal accountability. If we want to perform at a high level for ourselves, we want to be the best version of ourselves, and if we do that, we do it in our household. We raise our kids, and we serve our wives, and we perform at work, and we're good citizens, and we, you know, have a relationship with God, and we speak publicly about it instead of just, you know, behind closed doors, you say your prayers and stuff. Be vulnerable, speak out in public, try to push the topic, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we will do our part, and that's all we could do. Like, I can't control what Chris is going to do as far as his day, but if I control my stuff, you control your stuff, and we all do that as Americans, we're going to be able to push this stuff the right way.
Leading by example.
And we can't get discouraged. We can't let the news outlets discourage us from doing that. We can't fall into the trap of trying to divide us as a country anymore, because that stuff's worked for so long. You got to realize, like, dude, this stuff's working. We need to be the change. We need to make the difference. We need to take ourselves and worry about ourselves and our families.
Totally.
And just leave it at that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. And we got to reproduce, but like,
we got to reproduce. You
I mean, you want to live a legacy.
Totally.
You know, don't use excuses of man, the world's jacked up, so I'm not going to have a baby, or it's already screwed up. What am I going to do about it?
Yeah. That's the bad. That's
when
outlook.
That's when you're not living your best. That's when you like there's an excuse not to do something better. Like start in your neighborhood, clean your yard, show them that you're a good neighbor, and then the next neighbor will do it. Next thing you know, paint your house. You know, do those things because that changes the trajectory of say your neighborhood. You know, like those little things. Oh, it's a big deal painting your house, but that's how it starts.
It's not
leading by example.
Yeah. I just think what you're talking about is taking personal pride in your stuff. You know what I mean?
And everything.
And it really can be that simple. We don't have to overcomplicate things.
Yeah. Yeah. Clean up your yard. That's it.
You don't got to overcomplicate things. And if you don't have the means, the funds, the resources, then do something small. Make sure you don't have trash in your yard. Look presentable with the stuff you have.
Yep.
Try to lead your family.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be there doesn't have to be anything like outrageous done. We could make little incremental changes that you probably won't even notice every day. But if we keep making these changes, we treat people kind outside of work every day. And with that being said, dude, do I have a bad attitude sometimes? Do I need to check myself, or am I in a bad mood sometimes? Yeah, I'm human. I'm allowed to make mistakes. I don't want to. You know, I always want to be at my best, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to have bad days, but we need to have way more good days than bad days.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. So that was good, man. So you are voting for Trump?
Of course.
not Biden.
Of course.
When did you put up your flag?
Probably like maybe January or February.
I know. I drove by. I was like, oh, he's got the flag up.
Yeah,
He beat me because I've been wanting to put a flag
It was
post
just
since I moved
time.
in.
It was time to do it. You know, all of my houses I always had flags, and this one I haven't just because I've been dragging. So
I'm doing my back window. It's gonna be our flag.
that'd be cool.
The one with the extreme on it. So that it's on the truck. But
yeah, and
go ahead.
man, that flag means a lot to me too. Like I love driving up and I see that because me being a citizen, living in America has afforded me the opportunity. Like when I'm sitting here, I'm living. I never thought I'd be where I'm at right now in my life and be able to provide for my family and
Killing
do the
it, bro.
things I'm doing.
You're killing it. Your house is
And-
nice. Your family, you got a good looking family. You got a great team.
Yeah, God has blessed me, and it's my job to try to help as many people as I can and leave a positive impact in my little circle of whatever I can do.
So with that being said, let's leave a nugget to the audience. So I know we talked about all kinds of things. Leave them with one thing, something positive. That way, because someone's watching and they heard us go, from health to, to politics, to talk about work, safety. But leave them with that one nugget, Brandon, like knock their socks off. Because you got some good nuggets, dude.
Man, I got a lot of pressure on me.
You
right
got some
now.
real good nuggets, bro.
The one nugget that I think that everybody could use as a reminder is quit trying to base your day and your life off of what the external environment's given you.
Yeah.
And set your own internal thermostat. So whatever expectations you want to have for yourself, you should work to achieve those expectations instead of the outside. And if you can achieve your expectations that you set for yourself, which are always going to be higher than what everybody else has set for you, you'll slowly and surely start being more successful in anything that you set those standards for.
Yeah, I agree. That's powerful, because looking at other people can create a pressure that's not needed.
Yeah, and comparison is the thief of joy for sure, because I'm really bad at it, man. I'll be like, man, I got to do more. And my wife's like, you're doing as much as you can.
Yeah. So there it is, guys. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Use them as an example of what you want to do and where you want to be. But the comparison is what you don't want to do, because then you put that added pressure on yourselves.
Yeah.
Brandon, thank you for coming on the show, bro.
Thank you for having me.
it.
I appreciate you.
Everybody keep watching, like, subscribe, follow us. Go to Extreme Media Group as well if you're on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. And have a blessed week.